Another edition of Smarknado. I'm your host, Eric Druckman. With me, as always, the Danaconda, Dirty Dan Cesnit. Dan, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm a pothead out of pot, so if I seem a little edgy
Jittery?
today, a little jittery, I might be, but all good, man. Pretty simple week. Nothing crazy this week going on.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we as a podcast, we do have a lot going on this week. I just want to say right from the start of the show, we'll probably bookend this at the end too. Very important week for us. We got Showabunga 2 from Wrestlers Lab, Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. It's this Sunday from the Mecca, 3 p.m. start time. We are very, very excited about that. I'm going to be in attendance for it. I'm going to bring one of my buddies from college that lives close by.
Nice.
And, yeah.
It should be entertaining. A lot of really, really good matches. As far as independent talent is concerned, and you have the card there in front of you, right? So I'm gonna run down a couple of these matches that caught my eye. Some of it has changed since we first started, even from what I'm looking at right now. But first off, we have Don't Die Miles versus Eli Hush, who I am not familiar with. I won't pretend that I am, but
not familiar with him either.
By all accounts, they have very similar styles that will mesh well. So excited to see that when it does finally release on YouTube for me, because I won't be in attendance. The next match that I am looking at here is Akira versus Shotgun Adams. And I don't know if you've seen any of this at all, but they had a pretty good back and forth on Twitter. So it could very well make for an interesting match. So
this will be my first time seeing Shotgun Adams wrestling. I haven't seen any of his work before. Maybe I'll catch a match before this show happens. But even if I don't, I mean, if he's chosen to go against a talent like Akira, I think we are going to see something special.
We all have seen Akira in so many ways, shapes, and forms. He is a very violent individual, and I think that in order to go up against him, Shotgun Adams is going to have to be equally violent. And let's hope for him.
Yeah.
What else do we have here, card wise? Oh, that's the big one. That's the one that I think I'm most excited about. Two matches on this card, but the first one being this one, O'Shea Edwards and A-Game versus Robert Martyr and Angelo Carter. Had A-Game and Angelo on the show here, and again, can't say enough about how fun they were to have on the show. So,
and they absolutely brought along some heavy hitters as their tag team partners. So,
no doubt about that.
Truly looking forward to that match. Don't sleep on Mr. Grimm. He is an absolute talent for somebody his size. Some of the things that he can pull off, he can do 450 splashes. He can do fall away moonsault slams like you
Shane Mercer.
Shane Mercer. He is very, very impressive. I'm not too familiar with I'm not familiar at all with Trey Shaw. But this is another one. Kind of like the Akira match, where if they're going to be putting someone against someone like Mr. Grimm, I'm expecting really big things out of it. And Erica Lee versus Gabby Forza, I'm really looking forward to. I've gotten more familiar with Gabby Forza over the last couple of months for her appearances in Wrestling Open and Beyond Wrestling. She's very impressive. Erica Lee, I've been a fan of for a very long time, so definitely looking forward to that one.
Gabby's a little powerhouse too. I'm excited to see that. It's going to be a fun match for the two of them going at it. And Erica has got one of the best. I don't even want to say gimmicks. I think it's just who she is as far as a person in wrestling.
I just want to be part of a pee poo poo chant.
Well, and you probably will be. You probably will be. But she seems really fun, and we're excited to be involved in that match too. So
we're involved with the collaborative championship. We got our creeps going head to head with the outfielders, and that's Shane McCoy and Weber Hatfield. That's going to be a lot of fun. I was very happy to see the creeps make their debut. over at the Big Gay Brunch.
They did, and
Weeks
by all
ago,
accounts,
that was a big moment for them. I'm happy for them. I think they're wonderful people on top of being good wrestling talent. So looking forward to that one too. Billy Dixon, Big Daddy Adriana. I'll we'll see what we see. I'm not gonna like say that I'm the biggest Billy Dixon fan. I'm probably more of a fan of Billy Dixon in terms of like his personality and like, what he does for the wrestling business than his actual in-ring work. But maybe
he's important.
I could be wrong.
He's important.
Yeah.
He's important, and he can wrestle. And Adriana is up and coming from what I've seen as well. So I'm excited for that match to see how their styles sort of mesh a little bit too. I'm really excited about all of the show card.
Yeah. And not to mention too the Mecha Mayhem match. That's fans bring the weapons. So I'm going to be thinking over the next week, like, what am I going to bring with me?
Make sure you pay attention. Make sure you pay attention to what you can't bring. Make sure you do that. Be respectful.
Did they put a disclaimer up?
There was a few things. I mean, I think that they're the obvious things, but just double check that. I will be disappointed if you don't bring the biggest, floppiest dildo you can find. But hey, that's just what I would do.
I think that people are going to beat me to the punch on that one. So I'm going to leave it to other people that are going to be.
The more dildos, the better, bud. The more dildos, the better.
Dan, you know what? I just don't have any lying around, and I don't feel like buying one. So.
Are you sure?
I am sure. Yes. Of course, we can't bury the lead here. The main event, Eel O'Neill and Trevor Ion. I think that they are going to tear the fucking house down.
Yeah, man, for sure. And again, this just goes to a lot of the other things that we said with people that we've had on the show for this show. Just great people. Eel turned into that interview that we did with Eel on our show. Truly, it was he's one of my favorite people in wrestling just because the vibe that I got from him was very similar to how I feel about wrestling as an art form.
Yeah.
And it was really good. So
Eel takes a very artistic approach to professional wrestling.
Yes.
And that's no surprise based on his background of how.
So I actually have an update as far as what is not allowed for weapons in our chat here from Lanny. No glass, no sharps, no metal. Sadly, no adult toys, so you can leave your dildos at home, Eric. And no liquids. So obviously they don't want to be sprayed with anything. But I'm sure that you are a creative guy and you're going to come up with something awesome to bring with you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lanny.
Yeah, I mean, like I got a lot of shit around here, but I've also gotten rid of a lot of shit. So maybe my shit is limited. Regardless.
What you should do? If you have some extra time this week, maybe hit up like the Goodwill and find something random, cool, and funny. I think like I said, I think you got some skill in you. I think you're gonna make a mark when it comes to bringing the weapons to this show.
I think so too. I am counting on myself.
So we're gonna get to some other wrestling too, but I just want to say one thing really quickly here before Showabunga 2 kicks off Mecha Mayhem this weekend. It has been 100% an absolute pleasure to work with Chris and Wrestlers Lab. I really can't say enough. He has been spectacular. He designed our logo here that I'm trying to point to that I can't, but in general, just a great person. So do everything that you can to support this show in every way, shape, and form. So just please, just check it out. Whether you watch it on YouTube or you're able to buy tickets pretty cheap if you're in the area, because all the talent on the show deserves it. Chris deserves it. His brother deserves it. They've worked really hard to put together a really cool, innovative, creative show for all of you. And we look forward to working with them in the future again, hopefully. Lord willing.
And yeah, just to echo that sentiment, even though I'm the one that's a little bit more hands off on the Twitter, I'm so incredibly appreciative towards Chris's very willingness to help us out at any at any turn, with
Yes.
whatever it
Whether
is
it's
that we need.
whether it's our logos, our t-shirt designs, just allowing us to be a part of this. Again, we're forever grateful. And even if we don't end up, doing another show with them, which I can't see us not doing that, just because, it's been just the best experience that I could have ever, asked for, to be part of a wrestling show like this.
Absolutely.
And every announcement that came out, over the course of this show being put together is just better than the one before it. So you guys are going to have a blast. And again, super jealous, but I am going to make it a point to make it to the next show, assuming that we do sponsor it, and even if we don't.
Yeah, 100%, man. Unfortunately, we won't. I don't think I'm going to be able to make the VXS show that we are going to be sponsoring next week. That's going to be on the 23rd from Queens. So it's kind of a lot for me to make 2 trips to
and we got
area.
Revolution coming up too. So I don't blame you for not being able to see everything.
And a bachelor party to plan, my man.
And a bachelor party to plan, and a wedding to go to. Man, we got a busy couple of months ahead of us here in Smark Nation. So, I'm just glad to, like I said, I'm always glad to be a part of everything. And I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit here, just because Drew and I were talking the other day.
No, kayfabe.
No, I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit. Drew and I were having a chat about Eric, and I just want to say this because I'm just feeling really generous. We're coming up on our 200th show soon, and having had Eric ask me to do this in the first place has always been something that I was really happy to do, and I am thankful every day to be able to do this show with him and for all of you. So I know that that's sort of something that we would probably put at the end, but at the end of the day, like, it's just really important to me to do this show. So I'm feeling very, thankful. So I just want to say thank you to you,
man. I appreciate you too, more than you know. And I am grateful that I did get to ask you to be on this show, and you obliged, and we have carried it through almost 200 episodes now. So thank you.
And we got a special one
that has been a part of this ride, and we are far from done. We
are not finishing our story.
Upward and onward. And yeah, we're not finishing our story. And I think that's a perfect transition for us to talk about what happened last week, shortly after we recorded our show from last week. It was certainly a different vibe that me and Dan had about going into WrestleMania season. We didn't really know what to expect coming out of this press conference. We thought it was more going to be, catered to the casual fan. The Rock comes out, has his moment with, with Roman Reigns. It really wasn't that. They course corrected. The Rock is a pretty smart guy, man. At the end of the day, I think he knows that, that he needs to do what's best, not only for the business, but what's best for the core group of fans that are there, that are watching the show week after week. And this was a hell of a course correction here. I'm not going to really go over everything that happened, because I imagine by this point, and especially if you're watching and listening to this show right now, you have seen what went down at the WrestleMania press conference. I think it is a hell of a correction. The Rock going heel and going with Roman Reigns in this role, I think, is a great move, because I feel like that there were already some negative feelings that were there about Dwayne, even independent of everything that happened with TKO. Just going back to him with Black Adam and everything, I think that there was already like what the fuck is wrong with The Rock?
He was on a downward trajectory. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. It was almost perfectly timed for a heel turn, realistically. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
life's heel turns, that was it, right?
100%. And I thought that this was awesome. And obviously we're going to get Cody versus Roman now at WrestleMania. I'm expecting us to see Roman, Rock in Roman's corner, and probably, I think they might go Steve Austin in Cody's corner. I think that just hasn't happened yet.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't think it plays out like that at all.
You think it's going to be a tag match?
I think that there's definitely going to be a tag match involved, probably on
But
one of the
the
nights.
title, dude. If the title isn't part of this, then this was all useless. This
I don't
whole
know, man.
thing was just useless.
You say they course corrected well. I'm gonna kind of disagree with you because all they did was have Cody come out and say, "This is bullshit." But
So,
like, bro,
like,
no,
but they're going
that's
with
not a
the
course
match.
correction. That's not a course correction. That's him coming out and saying, "This is bullshit. This is a match." He gave that match away. He gave it away.
Listen, they can still tell the story of like he was convinced into doing that. They could, but like they haven't told that part of the
Maybe.
story yet. They can still do that.
I
And
just
they
don't think it
already
was.
announced that it is going to be Cody versus Roman, so they can't just go ahead and just do a tag team match and expect the fans to be pleased with that.
I don't think
They
they're
can't.
necessarily going to do a tag team match only. No, but I think that what night one is going to probably be a tag match. I don't
Okay.
think Rock can do a full match. And it makes sense. I don't think
he can.
I
I think he can absolutely do if Stone Cold was able to do what he could do with Kevin Owens a couple years ago, there's no reason why The Rock could not prepare
Stone Cold
himself
barely
for a
did
full
anything.
match. He did. He took bumps on the concrete.
Yeah.
He did. Like, dude,
I think there's a difference between
the
taking
Rock
bumps.
Work a match now, I think is crazy.
I think that there's a difference between taking bumps and being in wrestling shape.
Okay, well, The Rock has more resources to get in wrestling shape than really anybody in the world.
Fair point.
So I think that he is going to utilize all the resources that he has in order to get into that wrestling shape and be ready for WrestleMania.
Listen, man, I love you. I do. Rock was never a good wrestler. Like,
okay.
let's not kid ourselves. I don't think he's gonna like. There's nothing more about The Rock that's gonna be entertaining.
Like a work rate Zack Sabre Jr. Daniel Bryan match, but he's going to do all the normal things that he does. Yeah, and that's all he has to do. Yeah. And if he wants to, and like if he's in a match with Roman Reigns, the man who just like lets things fucking he just lets things linger for so long in a match. You know, I think he can work a Roman Reigns style match.
So do you still think, well, we're definitely not going to get Roman versus The Rock in any way, shape, or form, not anytime soon anyway. So like, I'm having a hard time seeing the vision. I'm just having a hard time seeing the vision, man.
Well, you know what? The vision is certainly a lot more clearer now than it was last week. And it's definitely brighter skies than we had last week.
I would say more clear, not a lot more clear. I still think it's a little muddy.
I think they're going to ride that momentum. I think that going into Friday, it's going to be very interesting with The Rock and Roman being there, you know, side by side. I'm interested to see how this all plays out. And I think it's more of a time to be excited than like
I really
paranoid or critical.
I'm not paranoid or critical. Paranoid, yes. Critical, I won't be completely critical of it. I do think that it was a course correction. I just don't think it was as aggressive a course correction as you do. That's all. I think it'll be okay. I'm just still not totally convinced that they have a plan in mind. I think that they threw that out there at the press conference to sort of dial it back a little bit, but I don't think that they have a full plan to dial it back yet. I don't know. It's a little concerning to me in that.
Well, at the end of the day, I think we are going to get Cody versus Roman, and I think that Cody's going to finish his story, and if he doesn't, they're in Philadelphia, bro. People get violent over there.
Yeah, but it's not a Philly crowd. It's a crowd from all over the world, right? Like it's
a combination of a Philly crowd with a hardcore wrestling crowd, so that's dangerous.
But I still think it's a lot of casual wrestling fans from around the country. There's a lot of hardcores too, but I don't know. If this was a one-night event, I would see the vision a little bit better, but it's not. So to me, that's where I'm like having a hard time. What's the main event of night one if Cody and Roman is night two?
I think, well, I mean, I think it should be Bayley versus Io because she won the Royal Rumble. It's what I
Your
want,
logic is
not what
your
I think
logic
is
is
going
sound.
to happen.
Your logic is sound. I don't think it'll happen either.
Well, yeah, right. I'm just telling you what I want to happen.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying to think about what can happen, and I mean,
well, if they want to
point,
go with there's nothing wrong with them going the tag match for night one. My only reservation about that is like Roman Reigns just never works matches. So what makes people think that he's going to be willing to work 2 matches in a row?
If one's a tag match, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the one thing that really we haven't really even touched on is they very much have been burying the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's also like, you know, yeah, it's not that great.
Like, I'm serious, bro. Like, Seth was standing on the side of the stage like Steven fucking Glansberg eating dessert alone. Like, he has come off looking really bad here. And I feel bad for him.
Because he's been the fightingest champion, arguably, in any promotion. I know you're going to fight to the death for Orange Cassidy, but there's still a case to be made that Seth Rollins is the fightingest champion in any wrestling promotion.
I think Orange has probably had more defenses total, but but as far as world champion, yeah, probably. I would agree with you in that regard.
Yeah, it's not great, but hopefully this all plays out well and we'll be enjoying ourselves. I'm certainly more excited.
What's Seth's
can you at least say that, Dan? Are you more excited?
I am more excited.
Yeah.
I am more excited. I will admit that I'm more excited. I am not. I'm going to reserve the entirety of my excitement until Cody finally wins that title. That's it. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just not going to build myself up to believe something that's going to happen, and then just be. I don't want to be disappointed again. I just don't in this scenario. I have no desire to be disappointed again. So
you can only get your heart broken so many times.
Yeah, and no, it's. I'm going to trust it. I think that there's a lot of things going on. Say what you want, man. This is a massive lawsuit and it's a massive scandal. And I still think that there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that are still affecting WrestleMania, whether we like to admit it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot of cleanup that they're going to have to do. There's a lot of people that are linked to Vince McMahon. And there's probably some lingering parts of that culture that is continuing to fester in that company. But you know, I am speculating, but I do think it's likely. But we'll see how that all plays out. And everything that happened with Janelle Grant, man, sad to say, I think it's tip of the iceberg. I think that there's just so much more that is going to unravel as the months go on. And if I'm a betting man, you know, just with the way that news stories break and things, you know, with the timing of everything, I am willing to bet you that within 2 weeks of WrestleMania coming out, there's going to be another shocking revelation.
I was going to say before Revolution. I was going to say before Revolution.
Why before then?
I don't know, man. If somebody
I think it's more relative to WWE's big shows that they're.
Well, what I'm saying is, if they want to, if somebody that was pro AEW wanted Revolution to look better prior to Revolution, and they had information or something to that effect that could get leaked, maybe it happens. I'm just saying, like, these things tend to happen right before big pay-per-views, and Revolution, while maybe it's not the largest revelation that comes out, you might see some news items pop up before then.
Yeah.
You might. But definitely before Mania. I completely agree with you there. There's too many eyes on the product at that time.
I mean, what I'm saying even with that too is, like, I can see something being revealed like right up to the night of night one of WrestleMania. So it's like so fresh that it's happening. It's because you saw it happen with the Royal Rumble, you know, and Paul Levesque better be ready with an answer by that point.
You ain't kidding. That Royal Rumble press conference was embarrassing. He can't embarrass.
It was embarrassing just because like he came in with such an arrogant thought in mind that he wasn't going to be asked any of those questions. Like he had to come in with that because like he seemed like he was like blindsided by it and just wasn't prepared with an answer at all. And just
everybody prepped him.
Bullshit picture. So
everybody prepped that guy. There's no way he didn't know that was going to get asked. He was probably more shocked it wasn't the first fucking thing asked, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, even if he was prepped, he didn't use any of that preparation. No. You need more preparation, H.
When I quit. No. All kidding aside, like when I said prepared, I mean somebody had to be like, yeah, they're gonna ask you these questions. Like he had to know they were coming, not necessarily he had to be prepared for them. But man, let's just stop talking about this because I'm gonna raise out.
Move on. We had a pretty solid collision that happened this past weekend. Yeah. Let's just kind of talk about a freeform stuff that we really liked. Dan, how about you go first?
Stuff that I really liked on Collision. I mean the sprint from the beginning. I'm interested in this BCC CMLL stuff. I think it's fun. I think we get to see new sort of faces every week from CMLL that we might not have normally had a chance to see.
I'm going to be honest with you, bro. The way that this ended and the way that, BCC addressed the tag division, this seemed, and I could be wrong, it seemed like a little bit of like an end to this CMLL storyline. And again, I could be wrong because obviously what this led to was FTR coming out and we're going to see Claudio and Mox against FTR.
I disagree with you on the CMLL thing being over, maybe with BCC, but they're definitely going to keep coming because now I sent you this in the group chat, but Wrestling Observer reported that Rocky Romero is now part of the front office at AEW. Mm-hmm. And his ties to CMLL are really close.
His ties to CMLL and New Japan are massive.
And New Japan. I think that this low key is one of the best things. If he's the guy that ultimately ends up with Tony's ear and sort of is the one that's helping him book shows and expand AEW, they got a good one, man. This is the guy because he's just been doing like ambassador work for wrestling companies for years. And he's got all the connections. He's got them all. Oh, yeah. It's a top-notch signing in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Yeah, Rocky is a huge asset. Again, like has ties to all these companies. Overall, though, what'd you think of Esfinge and Star Jr.? I feel like they specifically didn't really leave an impression on me like the other guys have.
I liked Esfinge. I thought his costume his mask was cool. I thought I liked him better as the better of the two of them. Yeah. I just like seeing new guys. Like, is this going to be, guys that I see forever and always, and I'm going to follow like crazy? No. But next week, if it's two new guys, I get exposed to two new wrestlers that I didn't see. So, yeah, I think that's cool.
Yep. I really liked the Eddie Kingston promo backstage.
He's the best in the business, obviously.
We got officially it's going to be Kingston versus Danielson at Revolution as we hoped it would be. And
we're gonna be so at odds that whole day, man.
Mm-hmm. And you know what else I liked about I don't even know if we are going to be at odds. Like I kind of want Kingston to win just because I think that's probably Danielson's intention is to put Kingston over.
As it
So
should be.
I may just have the same feeling as I did going into the Kofi versus Danielson match at WrestleMania. In that,
Oh, okay.
yes, Danielson is my favorite wrestler and everything, but I kind of see what's going on here. I see that he is doing the work to really put over another star. And this being his last year. I know that you saw it and you're going to talk about it later, but he has already put over Zack Sabre Jr. So I think that he's gonna do the deed for Eddie Kingston, so to speak here.
Yeah, he should, and he will, and it'll be great. Man, this card is still not completely announced, but we have the triple threat. We have the Danielson versus Kingston. We have Tony versus Deanna. What else do we have so far? Am I missing anything?
Sting and Darby. Did you already say that?
Which it hasn't been announced officially, I don't think, but yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say in this Kingston promo, I liked Eddie Kingston addressing the Young Bucks and what they did to Sting and Darby on Monday. That reminds me of like in WCW when people wouldn't be in a feud with the NWO, but they'd still call out like the atrocities that they committed, like before like focusing on their normal feud. So like I like that element of it. Yeah, man. I like everything that we saw with Garcia.
Man, that dude's like. I'm gonna say this again. That dude is just. They said they were gonna push him this year, and they have pushed him, man.
Yes. And
this kid, dude, he's special.
I think that, and he's going to be facing Copeland on Wednesday, I believe, right? Who's going to be the number one contender for the TNT title.
I do believe he is. Let me just double check my. This is what we got for coming up.
Right at the top of the card, we got Garcia and Adam Copeland.
This is actually kind of a good card too. Look, we get Top Flight versus the Young Bucks.
Yeah. Well, they're Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. I don't think they're even calling themselves the Young Bucks right now.
Oh, really? Are they not at all?
I mean, look at the heading right there. It says Matthew and Nicholas, the EVPs.
AEW EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. That's, man, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
They also announced the rankings at the end of this show too, so I'm gonna pull those up here just so we have a little of an idea where we're at right now. So, it's interesting because we still don't have a TBS title match coming up, so we think that that's probably going to be Thunder Rosa.
I like what I'm seeing in the tag division right here. More proper tag teams that are jumping up in those rankings. You had FTR, you have Private Party, you have Top Flight. Claudio and Moxley, closer to a proper tag team than Starks and Big Bill, in my opinion.
They're in a faction. Starks and Big Bill were literally just tossed together.
Right. But yeah, like what I'm seeing here. Looking at the women's division, obviously we're going to get Tony against Deanna. I would like to see Thunder Rosa versus Julia Hart get added to Revolution also.
How is Hikaru Shida the number 3 ranked wrestler? I don't think I've even seen her wrestle this.
I haven't seen her in a long time. Maybe she's having matches on Ring of Honor. I don't fucking know.
Rampage, maybe? No, but Ring of Honor matches don't count here.
I definitely see Sky Blue and Mariah May a lot more than I see Shida.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just who the fuck knows?
How about Takeshita jumping into the top 5 rankings right there?
I think that's good for what you want, in that it could be him sort of coming closer to getting that international title shot or a TNT title shot. That's the other match I forgot. Orange Cassidy versus Roddy is going to be our other match there.
I guess I'm not alone. A lot of people are not looking forward to that match. A lot of people are not really feeling Roderick Strong right now.
Like who?
And I've seen it on the internet, and like it's weird for me to say because I am a Roderick Strong fan, but I just think there are so many different people that are more deserving of that title shot than him.
Maybe he loses, even though I don't think he will. But
I don't think it's the right move to put the belts on Roderick. I don't
either. Of course I don't either. Of course I don't. I can show you my AEW figure collection that includes Orange Cassidy. So obviously I know that. I wanted to bring this up because I don't think we even really mentioned it yet, but two women's matches on Collision. Singles matches to boot, which is absolutely mind-boggling at this point. So
back
cool.
to back too. Deanna versus Kiera Hogan. I thought Kiera was a babyface. Maybe she is now.
No, I'm saying this right now though. I'm calling dibs on this, man. Next year's breakout star is Queen Aminata.
Yeah,
100%, without a doubt. Like, she's got everything, man. Like, I can't wait.
I haven't heard her promos. And Tony versus Queen Aminata happened too. Great match. Everyone go check that out. But also at the end, Tony said that she's going to be debuting a brand new film next week. And brother, let me just tell you this. She better not debut that new film during the picture-in-picture break of Dynamite, because I'm just going to be extremely disappointed. I'm kind of at war with picture-in-picture right now, man. I don't know how you feel about it.
I mean, I don't love it. But it just doesn't.
It takes me out of matches. It really does.
I'll say I miss using Sammy with the cue cards and Tony as the picture-in-picture. Because I like Tony as the picture-in-picture.
I like it as the picture-in-picture too, but if she's hyping up a new movie, a new film, I don't want to see it in picture-in-picture, especially leading up to this match. I will say this, international customers, they get to watch AEW Dynamite commercial-free on Fight. And if you know of a place where you can watch AEW Dynamite, the international version, I highly recommend it to everyone, because I have such a better experience watching AEW programming without the fucking bullshit picture-in-picture commercials. It's just night and day experience.
I believe that. Speaking of commercials, they announced today that Raw on Netflix will be commercial free for subscribers.
I hope that, with that being said, it gets. I think they should go reduced down 2 hours with the allowance of an overrun of however many minutes they need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about overruns. They can go as long as they want. They should go with the same way that, like, sort of Ring of Honor did it at first, where I mean they were excessive at first. They went too crazy, but they never really had a set time. They just sort of put together a show and went there. They did what they had to do. So if they went with a formula similar to that, I think that they would very quickly make a fan out of me. I would watch Raw if it was 2.5 hours. I would watch it every week, probably. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I would hold
depending
hold them to 2 hours. If they go to 2.5 hours, I'd just be like, just go all the way, guys. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Main event of this show, though, on Collision was Orange Cassidy versus Ishii, and it's always great to see Ishii in here. I just there was just no part of me that thought that Ishii was going to win, and that's a shame. Just with the timing of the pay-per-view that's coming up, there's already a book match for Cassidy. I'm only saying that because it was hard for me to really get into it.
Oh, see, I thought it was a great match. It was just fun to watch. The dynamic of the two wrestlers is good because they're friends, but they're fighting. It was fun.
But I liked how tough Orange Cassidy was getting with the strike exchanges too.
Yeah. And I will say that I really like the one thing, and I know you're not a Roddy guy right now, but Roddy going up to everybody that Orange Cassidy wrestles and is like, we're wrestling at Revolution if you win. I don't know. I kind of find it funny. It's amusing me. I'm still on the Roddy bandwagon. I still like the yelling.
I don't like this Undisputed Kingdom thing. I think that's part of it too.
They really haven't done anything with it.
It's so weird, and it was such a shitty payoff. I'm not into the Kingdom. I think that the only person that this really benefits is Wardlow. In my opinion, it just makes him a little bit more relevant again. But, Adam Cole being there still in the wheelchair, it sucks to me.
Well,
I don't know.
It sucks, but you want Adam Cole there front and center still. They should have. I don't know, man. There's so many things that they could have done. It was not the greatest payoff. I don't hate the faction. I just don't like that they haven't really done anything with it. No. Right? Like, it's a good faction.
That is just what's so weird, man, is like they haven't done anything with them, yet you got this Bang Bang Scissor Gang that have joined together out of a mutual hatred for getting attacked by the Undisputed Kingdom. Yet they haven't had any matches against each other. So that's confusing to me. Very much so. Like, what the fuck is going on with that?
I don't know.
Like, why aren't those factions like going at it with each other at this point?
I don't know.
It's weird.
There's not. I mean, they definitely have some storytelling issues here. But other stuff is really good. It's like they're very much falling into that old WWE pattern where some of it is very, very good, and then other stuff you're like.
Yeah, but like that's a pattern they shouldn't be falling into. Let's be honest, Dan. Like that's just like that. We watched wrestling like that for so long and started to like compromise with shit that like
quality. Yeah,
that's why AEW came, because it was being presented as a different product, as a better product than what you're used to, and it certainly was that for a very long time. But as we're seeing the shift in power in WWE, the shift in creative, the shift in approach, focus of who they're pushing and whatnot, we're seeing more and more of WWE just not being the same WWE anymore.
I am very intrigued by what you just said there, because what if WWE does have to wipe the slate clean and all these fuckheads are gone? All the Triple H's, all these people are gone. They cleaned the fucking house.
Yeah.
What happens to creative then? What happens?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
I hope they have a plan.
It makes me wonder, are they going to get wrestling people in there? Or are they going, because like this is I'll say this. The one saving grace for that whole situation will be The Rock. Because The Rock still somewhat has his finger on the pulse of the wrestling fan. He knows what's going on. I think that The Rock has the ability to put the right people in place. So
unless he thinks that person is him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want that, right? Because he's the kind of guy that wants to be involved in everything, right? So it's whether it's the XFL at the same time and movies and tequila and wrestling. Like you can't do it all, right? Like no matter what you want, you can't do it all. So you would almost be running into a weirdly Tony Khan-esque situation where if The Rock wanted to put himself in power, he wants to do everything, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe not necessarily in WWE, but you know what I mean. Like Tony Khan is at Fulham, Tony Khan's in Jacksonville, Tony Khan's at AEW, Tony Khan's at his sports analytics firm. Like all these things are too much at a certain point. So I hope we don't see that.
Yeah. Understood.
I like the idea that you put out there of Cody. I think it's beautiful, brilliant, amazing.
Of what?
Cody being the one to sort of ultimately take over. I think you said it last week or maybe the week before.
Yeah, man, I kind of see the seeds being planted for the future.
I think that it would be the best thing that could ever happen to WWE is Cody Rhodes being in charge of, at the very least, creative.
Mm-hmm. Agreed, man. So we'll see how that all plays out. All in all, good episode of Dynamite of Collision. I know you brought up Dynamite. Let's just go through. Did we kind of already went through the card?
We went through it a little bit, but I'll pull it back up here. We're gonna get probably a sit down interview with the three guys from the title match coming up at Revolution. Like I said, we're gonna get the Jacksons versus Top Flight in a rematch. Oh no, they didn't. Have they wrestled before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jackson's versus Top Flight, probably at some point.
Yeah. And Sky Blue versus Willow, probably cap that feud off. And Copeland versus Garcia for essentially what is going to be a shot at the TNT title.
That's going to be interesting. Do you think that Garcia wins?
No. I don't.
What if he does? What direction would that take Copeland's character?
Hard to say, man.
Yeah.
If it, you know what? I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibility for Garcia to win. And here's why.
I think
Because,
Garcia would win with like a jackknife roll up.
well, however, like I'm not even concerned with it. Garcia's a good enough wrestler that I can conceivably believe that he could beat Edge. Like that's not a problem for me.
I don't think he can tap Edge.
Probably not tap Edge, but regardless, my thought process here is that puts Christian in a match for Revolution, and it leaves Copeland to be able to do his open, which you could use for Ospreay or Okada, who has been recently, strongly hinted at basically being AEW bound, just shy of signing his contract. So maybe that's a scenario you can use Copeland for, and then worry about his character sort of after you utilize him to bring that new star in.
Right.
Or a Copeland Okada feud would be incredible. Absolutely marvelous.
The heel,
Yeah.
I mean, I would have Copeland as the heel, but I don't know if they're willing to pull that trigger yet.
It's been long enough. I think they could do it. I mean, they did it with Danielson very quickly.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
What's to say?
So what else did you see this weekend, Dan?
I saw the New Japan show, or at least most of it.
Most of it, okay.
Yeah, so I watched the big matches.
First episode we may have had where you watched New Japan and I didn't see any of it. So
I watched the Zack Sabre Jr. Danielson match. Just another technical masterpiece. If that's your thing, handshake. Man, hot dog handshake. If that's your thing, man, then watch it. And this whole show had something for everybody because it had the cage match between United Empire and War Dogs too, and that was just a bloody fuck all of a mess, man. Like I saw Okada versus Tanahashi. So those are the three matches that I watched from this. All of them are hot dog matches for their own reasons, right? Okada's last match in I can't remember exactly where they are. Not his last match in New Japan, is just last match wherever that was. Maybe it is
Fukuoka or whatever the fuck.
Whatever it is. And then, you had your technical marvel and you had your bloodbath. I thought this was a really, really strong show. And a hot dog show for those three matches alone.
Hell yeah, man. I am going to be checking that out. Maybe tonight, maybe sometime later in the week. But yeah, I watched quite a bit, and I didn't quite finish it yet, but I do know the result of the JCW J Cup that happened this past weekend.
Spoil it. Who won?
Masha won.
Did she?
Won it.
Yep. Cool. So is she the JCW champion now?
She's the JCW champion.
Nice.
I had my own thoughts on it. I'm a huge Masha Slamovich fan. Yeah. But to me, Masha's already been GCW champion, and I think that she is very much in the running to become GCW champion again. I think that this would have been a very good opportunity to get the belt on Alec Price, and I know I say that with bias, but if you look at the tournament bracket that Alec Price had versus Masha, Alec Price first went through Jonathan Gresham, got a big win. And then he beat Joey Janela.
Yep.
And then if he went on and beat Masha and then went on to face Jordan Oliver in the finals and won, I think that is the best path to winning a tournament. And I think that the best winners of a tournament have a really hard draw.
Is Jordan about to get signed too?
Everywhere.
Do you think Jordan's about to get signed?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think that, Jordan at the same time has been doing a lot of international bookings.
A lot.
So I think that his, his
schedule
is the word I'm looking for.
His schedule?
His schedule. Yeah, sure. His schedule has just become just so, busy with international dates. Yeah, I'm not wording right.
I think that if Eric can't remember the word schedule, it might be time to wrap this episode up.
Yeah.
pretty soon.
I also was looking for the word demand. He's in high
Oh,
demand.
okay.
Yeah.
Understood. But
Yeah, but overall, I thought this was a hell of a tournament. I think that the guys that really impressed me the most in terms of like, I haven't seen too much of them, but I love them. This tag team, the Astronauts,
Yep.
you're going to be hearing a lot about them. This is a tag team of Fuminari Abe and Takuya Nomura. They're out of Big Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
They've made WXW appearances before. They're fucking kick ass, bro.
I know Abe. I don't know the other one.
Night one, Abe is probably the one that you're aware of. Abe and Nomura, the Astronauts. Night one, they faced Violence is Forever. Night two, they faced Bailey and Gresham, and both matches just absolutely fucked.
Oh.
The Astronauts are facing each other at Bloodsport. It was announced earlier this week. I guess these guys like to fight each other too. They're just that's the type of dudes they
Psychos,
are. Those are the type of guys that really get over with an American indie crowd.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. They're probably going to have a match on spring break and whatever. We're going to be seeing a lot more of them in America.
GCW's got
Astronauts is the name you got to get used to.
GCW will lock them up. You'll see them on every GCW show probably for a while.
Yeah, and I can't go without saying that the great Sasuke, he wrestles a different style than when you saw him wrestle at Canadian Stampede in 1997 against Taka Michinoku. But for his age, he can still really go.
He beat Bailey.
He did beat Mike Bailey. That was a little bit too long. That match was just a little bit too long to me. Yeah. But he worked his ass off. Nick Wayne and Sasuke the next night was really, really fun.
Nick Wayne filled in for somebody in that tournament, didn't he? I don't think he was originally supposed to be.
I'll say this. Jordan Oliver, he lost and everything. He had a very interesting path to getting to that final.
Okay.
In the opening round, he faced his former tag team partner. What am I looking for?
Marcus Mathers?
No, he faced. In the first round, he faced Griffin McCoy.
Yeah.
Second round, he faces his other former tag team partner, Myron Reed. Third round in the semis, he faces his most recent tag team partner, Nick Wayne.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And he beat all of them. Too bad he wasn't Masha's partner at one point. He would have beat her too.
Yeah, for real. All in all, though, J-Cup was a lot of fun. Again, I didn't really finish everything. I saw it up till Alec Price versus Masha. Maybe the win got out of my sails a bit after I saw that. But yeah, it's an awesome show, guys. Go check it out. Dan, do you have anything left for us?
I don't have anything else to do except for plug the fuck out of Showabunga 2. Mecca Mayhem one more time at the tail end of this show. Go see it, go watch it, go support it, buy the shirts, do whatever. Just hook them the fuck up.
Guys, support Wrestlers Lab. They are great dudes. They're a great company. They're great talents.
We got a special surprise coming for the talent there that Chris and I have talked about earlier this afternoon. So we're looking forward to that too. Man, I am just so excited. Also, Violence Suffering VXS. Check that show out. I believe that's on Fight TV. Triller TV as it's called now.
To some of the announced, I already saw that it's going to be Erez versus Leo Rush.
That's going to fuck around and be fire.
Alone. That's wild. That's worth the price of the mission.
Leo Rush is an action star, man, and I will never take any Leo Rush in ring slander ever. I know some people he's not for them. To me, he's excellent.
I don't understand how anyone could say that Leo Rush is not for you in terms of in-ring. I feel like the only criticism that people make is the very tired joke of, Leo Rush, I thought he was retired. I think that's it. I think that's all that people have, because if you ever want to go after his in-ring ability, are you blind?
I'm just saying that some people don't love that high-speed style. That's all. It's just not for them. I'm not saying that anybody's like Leo Rush sucks. I just think that he looks like a an action movie, and some wrestling fans don't necessarily love that in their wrestling, right? They might love action movies.
Well, they're losers.
Okay. Well,
but anyway, guys, follow us on Instagram. But wrestling's for everybody.
Yes.
All right.
Everyone.
So wrestling is subjective. So if you don't like Lio Rush, I guess that's okay. But I still think you're kind of a loser. But anyway, I digress. Follow us on Instagram at Smarknado, on Twitter at Smarknado1. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Go check out our link tree. All sorts of great stuff on there, including our What a Maneuver store. Dan, you have anything left for us?
You ask this every week. You know what I got left for us. Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Keep watching wrestling.